Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is infant health and immunization. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about this topic this morning Dr. Barbara BNabitt-Stephens, a member of the faculty at Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee. And along with Dr. Stephens is Miss Peggy Halperin, a member of the Metropolitan Health Department. Ms. Halperin is the Director of Community Nursing for the Metropolitan Health Department, Davidson County. And ladies, let me welcome both of you, Dr. BNabitt-Stephens and Ms. Halperin, to the show this morning. Before we get started talking about infant health and the whole multitude of things that the two of you can give us dealing with information relative to infant health and immunization, Dr. Stephens, let's have you and Ms. Halperin give us some information about your background and some of the things that were important in both of your lives in leading you to where you are today. We'll start with you, Dr. BNabitt-Stephens, and then Ms. Halperin will give us the same kind of information, and then we'll talk about Meharry and the Metropolitan Health Department.
Thank you, and good morning, Dr. Haney. I am a proud Tennessean, being a native of Memphis. I was given, however, an opportunity to go away to school starting at the 9th grade, so my formal education process after the 9th grade, for the most part, was on the Northeast Seaboard. I went to college at Harvard, and I went to medical school at Tufts, did my residency in New York City, and then gave back some time that I owed the government to the U.S. Public Health Service in Alabama. And it was from Alabama that my husband and I moved to Nashville when he became a faculty member at Meharry as well. So we've been here now since '83.
Very good. And Ms. Halperin, what about you and your background?
Good morning, Dr. Haney. I am a native of Middle Tennessee as well. I was born in Nashville. I did go to high school in Memphis. And then I migrated to the great Northeast as well. I went to nursing school. I am a registered nurse. I went to nursing school at the University of Bridgeport in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I worked for a number of years as a public health nurse in southern Connecticut. And then I went to graduate school at the School of Public Health at Columbia University in the city of New York. And I worked for a number of years in public health in New York City before I relocated back to Nashville in 1989. Since, no, 1987, sorry, since 1989, I've been with Metropolitan Health Department.
Very good. And of course, both of you will bring a vast amount of information dealing with infant health and immunization this morning. And let's, before we get into that, Dr. Stephens, let's have you to give us some information about Meharry. I don't think that anybody in the Nashville area is unfamiliar with Meharry Medical College, but give our audience some information about Meharry Medical College before we get started this morning.
Well, Nashvillians should be very proud of the national treasure that they have in our community in the presence of Meharry Medical College. It has a proud tradition and continues to serve a vast need. In many ways, Meharry has pioneered concepts that are now becoming the buzzwords in the medical healthcare arena. Meharry has traditionally had to manage with meager resources, and as a result of that knows how to be a very competent manager. So today in the managed care world, Meharry has a history which puts it in a position to be very capable in leading the healthcare industry in a lot of areas that we're all trying to explore at this point.
Very good. What about the Metropolitan Health Department, Ms. Halperin?
Metropolitan-Davidson County Health Department is a large county health department affiliated with the State Department, Health Department, but actually a department of metropolitan government. It delivers a myriad of services to the citizens of Davidson County, both through the primary clinic at Lentz, which is located on 23rd Avenue, as well as the satellite clinics that are located throughout Davidson County, the largest of which are Woodbine Clinic, East Clinic, and Lentz Clinic. The services range from services for infants and children to services for adults, for women, the WIC programs, just the gamut of
Just everything-
public health services
Just
for
everything
the
that's
citizens.
involved in public health service. You
Yes,
can
for
generally
the
find-
citizens of Davidson County, including animal control, including air pollution standards, emissions, including pool inspections, food inspections, as well as the health care services that are provided for the citizens of the county.
Anything that impacts upon the health of the community, the Metropolitan Health Department is concerned with.
Most definitely so, and even more so as they change their focus to Healthy Nashville 2000, and in looking at the community as an aggregate, and looking at the community as in assessing the health needs of the community in a proactive way, so that those needs can be addressed before problems arise, as opposed to reacting to problems that might arise due to any one of a number of factors.
Very good. Dr. Stephens, let's talk about infant health, because I think that when we talk about infant health, that certainly is a large category. But from your training and your teaching and some of the things that you've been involved in, why don't you give our audience some information this morning about what constitutes infant health, and what are some of the things that we ought to be concerned with dealing with infant health?
I'd like to start off with the concept of the total environment, because health is concerned with not only the absence or presence of disease, but also the total well-being of the individual in their environment. And this is particularly important when you're talking about infants and children. We have a community based in Nashville. We are in a larger community of the country, and we are citizens of the world. And what may impact children or adults in the other part of the world frequently comes to impact us as well, and we need to consider the entire environment when we talk about health. Starting with the newborn, I frequently will counsel my new parents that you have this new baby. Think of this new baby as a sponge. This sponge is going to sit there and absorb everything around it. You want to be very selective and critical in what the sponge absorbs. So you need to be careful what you do, how you do it, and where you do it.
Even at that young age, that infants absorb some of the things that will be part of their culture later on. And so you counsel young mothers to be sure that they act and do things in such a way that can influence that child. Is that what?
Positively.
From a positive fashion.
For example, if a mother complains to me, I can't get my baby to eat. I said, has your child ever sat and watched you eat? Do you sit down and have a family meal? Or are you always trying to shove something in the child's mouth while 50 million other things are going on in the room? That might have something to do with why you can't get your child to sit down and eat.
If the child were to see her sit and eat, then the child would be able, is that
correct? Or take it a step further. I can't get my child to eat anything green. I said, well, have they ever seen you eat anything other than a bag of potato chips? They are sitting there watching everything you do, and they love to imitate what they see others around them doing. So I try to get parents to look at the world from their child's point of view so that they can understand and anticipate what might come next.
Very good. And of course, I think, Ms. Halperin, you deal with something that is quite specific in terms of the shots that young children have to have during their early infancy, as well as later on. And let's talk about that. I think that we've got a short break coming up here in a few minutes, but when we come back from this break, we want you to talk about some of those things that will have to do with immunization. I think that the audience is probably aware that today is fast approaching the end of the month of April for National Immunization Month, and that we might be a little tardy in terms of trying to bring this information to the audience. But I think that when we come back from this break, and we've got about 10 or 15 seconds to go before we go into the break, but when we come back from this break, we'll start with you, and we'll have you to give us some information about that. And we'll be back with you following this commercial break.